A person of interest has been detained in connection to those 3 stabbing investigations. Livecopter 3 was overhead about an hour ago as officers were talking with this person on Pine Lane and Colby. That is just 1 block away from Sycamore Park, one of the stabbing locations. We saw them talking for at least 20 minutes before he was then placed into the back of that police vehicle. At this point, police say they are not calling the person a suspect, but they are confirming they do have a person of interest. And it's important to point out the police have detained other people of interest in the past few days.
These are images you're only going to see here on KCRA 3. On the ground, Lizzie Mitri had a chance to speak to the man who called police, and this guy just had to be in the right place at the right time and had the right presence of mind to do what he did, Lizzie.
Well, he says he was over at the park actually laying down flowers. He wanted to write a note. You can see we're at Colby Drive and Pine Lane. Right on that corner is where police were speaking to that person of interest. And like you mentioned, this is just 1 block away from Sycamore Park. It's just down the street over there where the second stabbing happened. And that's where Carter Carlson says he was when he saw a man who matched the suspect description. Here's what he says happened.
I had been over there laying some flowers and writing a note, and I was trying to be aware of my surroundings when I saw an individual with the same outfit as described walking over one of the hills towards the park. I could also see that they had very long hair, so I kind of tried to keep an eye out. I went back to my car at one point because I couldn't see the person anymore. They were hiding behind the park. But I looped around and they were walking towards Bucknell, just a few blocks over. And so me and another individual, who I'm not sure who it is, kind of followed them for a little bit just to make sure that they weren't doing anything suspicious. They went around Bucknell, back down Villanova, and headed towards CVS. That's where I kind of lost them, so I came back to the park.
And after coming back to the park, that's when he came across the scene out here, like we said, just a block away from that park, where he saw police speaking to the man that he had reported. And along with that, there were many other neighbors in this area who were realizing that something was happening, came out to watch and try to figure out if this was the suspect. After all, people were watching out here for about 20 minutes as police talked to this man before he was put in the back of the police car, and those police cars drove away. They say they have detained that person. They're calling him a person of interest. And we also want you to keep in mind that police say they have detained a few people of interest over the past few days. So this isn't the first time this has happened. Reporting live in Davis, Lizzie Mitri, KCRA 3 News.
Lizzie, thank you. And again, we know that there is really a lot of fear right now in the Davis community and a lot of people waiting for news of an arrest. So as Lizzie was just saying, it's important to notice there have been a few people of interest who have been detained. But again, this is potentially a significant development that we've seen today.
Well, I mean, again, this person is just being questioned right now, but there are some factors that fit the description of the person they were looking for.
And acting suspiciously, as we heard.
So that is, they'll be looking at that in depth. Now, while they do question this person now in custody, of course, the investigation is still ongoing. And let's rewind this back to last Thursday, and that's when the body of David Breaux was found in Central Park, where he would stay at times. Detectives aren't sure when he was killed. Now, there were no witnesses to his killing.
Then Saturday night, 20-year-old UC Davis student Kareem Abdul Najam was found dead at Sycamore Park. A witness in that case was able to give police a vague suspect description. Again, this park is close to where today's person of interest was just taken into custody.
And then we learned on Monday night that a 64-year-old woman was stabbed at a homeless camp. She was stabbed through her tent This was off of 2nd and L Streets. She is still in the hospital right now. She has been able to give police somewhat of a vague description of the attacker, and there were a couple of more people nearby who talked with police, and we got the description of long curly hair, black Adidas pants, slight build, 5'7" to 5'9"-ish. Brittany Hope joining us right now from the Davis Police Department. So a potential blockbuster development here, Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Golston. Again, we do want to reiterate that this is a person of interest, but right behind me here, these gates, just the past 20-30 minutes, I have seen multiple law enforcement vehicles, both that say Davis Police, California Highway Patrol, but also folks who have been undercover getting back here. We do know from Live Copter 3, we saw that this is where authorities brought that person of interest at this point. This is just another angle right now from the Davis Police Department. Now, as of the very latest, we still have no sketch of the suspect or the suspects in this. Again, we're still not sure about that part of the investigation, but just before this person of interest was detained, police did tell us that they now have biological evidence from all 3 of those stabbing scenes, so they're hoping that that evidence can be processed, maybe give them some DNA that could lead them to whoever that suspect or suspects are. Again, at this point, we're not sure if we're dealing with one or many.
A sad feeling and like a worry feeling around here right now. I've been working here almost 11 years, and it's kind of sad what's going on. You know, people are kind of scared.
Scared with the suspect still on the loose after 3 people were stabbed in Davis in just a matter of days.
I just would remind folks to stay vigilant, stay aware of your surroundings, travel in groups to the extent possible, and just be safe out there.
Advice from Mayor Will Arnold that UC Davis students say they're taking seriously.
I definitely don't go outside, during night. If I have to for grocery, I just, just drive and just try to, be at home.
The university has moved all classes that end after 6 o'clock at night to virtual learning for now.
It definitely is a surprise for me. I've been living here for around 2 years now. Like nothing like this happened before. And, I always thought Davis was a safe place. But it's as well, as much as it's, surprising, I do think that if, once the criminal gets, arrested, I think it'll be back to normal and it'll be a safer place.
Trying to make the city safe in the meantime, law enforcement agencies from across our region are saturating the college town in cars, by motorcycle, and on foot. And back out here live, you can see a little bit more activity here at the Davis Police Department. Just during that story as it was going, we saw another what seemed to be undercover vehicle go to the parking lot here. We know because of Live Copter 3, you could see from the air, this is where authorities brought that person of interest at this point. We know police, though, they say they still need the community's help. They're trying to get more evidence. We know that search and rescue crews are still canvassing the city looking for that evidence. They're looking for surveillance video, ring video, anything that can help lead them to that suspect or suspects. So just because we do have a person of interest, again, police, they say, have talked to a few of those. They still need the community to continue coming forward and making that call like that man did today near Sycamore Park. For now, we're live at Davis. Brittany Hope, KCRA 3 News.
Brittany, thank you. And we do want to go back to that video that you will only see here on KCRA 3. You can see police there taking that person of interest into custody. This was around 5:15 this afternoon. Again, very close to Sycamore Park, the scene of the second stabbing. Police again have said that this person is not under arrest, but clearly being taken in for questioning right now. The investigation obviously still very active.
So, of course, this is a major development, and we will continue to follow this through. And when we're not on the air, you can get breaking news alerts on our KCRA 3 app. Very important for a story like this. We'll have the latest information on the investigations, community reaction. That's all free. It's all on the KCRA 3 app.